And welcome to another edition of Rewardy Screencasts. Today, we are learning about testing questions, really open-ended questions, so we can think like the test creators. If you can think like them, you should be able to kind of anticipate the kind of questions that are going to be asked and do a great job answering. You'll know you've got it when you can list the 6 questions of learning. Explain which 2 of those 6 questions of learning are the best questions of learning. 2 of the 6 are the best. List key question terms. Those things you should be able to do after this video. And then later, either this class or in the future, very soon, create an open-ended question that requires readers to think deeply and select specific textual evidence to support the answer. It's like you're asked to do, you're going to ask other people to do it too. So today you will be learning right now about these 6 questions of learning. Higher order questions, words, sentence starters you could use to create your own questions. Outside of this video, you will analyze some sample questions and try to figure out how they're structured. And then eventually create a question for the nonfiction text that you have chosen to work with. So, let's get into it. Let's do it. So we're going to pause for a minute, and you're going to write down, or answer in the question here in the puzzle, what are do you think, the 6 questions for learning? What are the 6 questions of learning? Just do your best to list them. Submit it. If you don't know, it's okay. Just using this to kind of gauge what did you know as you started the video, and then at the end, we'll ask again to see what you might have learned. Alright, now that you've answered that, let's see how you did. So the 6 questions of learning are this. 5 W's and the H. Who, what, when, where, how, and why. Who, what, when, where, how, and why. Who, what, when, where, how, and why. I could do another TikTok. Alright. Those are your 6 questions of learning. So now my question becomes, which 2 of these 6 do you think are the most important? So I'm going to pause, and you'll answer that question. Again, just do your best, and then we'll see if you got it right or not. And if you get it wrong, it's okay in this. This is just gauging what we learn. This isn't, if you get it wrong, it's not going to affect your Genesis grade. All right, 2 top questions of learning. How and why. How and why. Now you might be asking, why are those the 2 most important questions? And that is actually the key to this. So let me back up here. If I ask you these questions, who? Who am I? Probably said, the bald man, Mr. Ward. Quick answer. What time is it? You'll have answered the time. Quick answer. When are we going to end school today? 12:30. Quick answer. Where are we? In school, in Collingswood, New Jersey. Quick answer. There's not much to these. These are generally very quick answers, very short. It doesn't take much. Once you answer it, that's it. That's the answer. That's the fact. How and why are different. If I asked, how did you get to school today? Everybody's answer is going to be a little different. And you might argue, I walked. That's a quick question, quick answer. So maybe not be the best example. How does a football travel 60 yards in the air? You're going to need a really long explanation, like a scientific explanation. Better example here is why. You could say, what color is the sky? Blue. Why? Give me an answer. To whatever you answered, why? It's whatever you answered there. Why? And I could keep this going on and on. But the bottom line is, if I say, why is something this way, you need to give a because and a longer, deeper explanation. So really, how and why, they require deep thinking and analysis. And we'll do a little bit more with that together as a group, so it makes a little more sense. But you really have to think deeply to come up with answers to how and why questions. How does something work? You have to explain the whole mechanism, how does a computer run? It's not a 1 or 2 sentence answer. It's not a 1 or 2 word answer. Definitely not a 1 or 2 sentence answer. How does a computer work? You're going to go through a long explanation. All right. There are some question starters that we're going to kind of look at and be able to use when developing our questions. Explain how blah, blah, blah. Analyze how blah, blah, blah. Make an inference. You have to read between the lines. Describe why blah, blah, blah. Speculate, predict. All right, but these are the kind of questions that require specific textual evidence. So that's what we're going to work on. So here are a couple examples. Describe the social cost of cell phone usage. In other words, there's some types of like friends and talking with people that we there's a cost there when we overuse cell phones. So, how does using cell phones cost people socially? That's really just another way of saying that how. You're going to basically describe how that impacts it. Explain the connections between physics of baseball and making the game safer. So explain the connections between science and safety in baseball. How does science impact the safety of baseball? Again, that how. It's just kind of implied there. So you could literally put how and why. You could put explain, describe, analyze, and they'll lead you to those types of questions. All right, so we have the 6 questions of learning, 2 most important, and some of these sentence starters. So now you're going to end with telling us, what have you learned? You'll answer that in an open-ended ed puzzle, and somebody will let you do that. All right, now that you've done that, you're going to get this question analysis. It's attached in the same assignment in Google Classroom. You will be reading these 4 samples and trying to figure out there's 3 sentences in each sample. What's the purpose of each sentence? They're all structured the same. Are there any connections between the first and second sentence in each? And this will kind of lead us to figure out how we can create our own open-ended question for the nonfiction text that we have selected. So other than that, we're about 8 minutes, and we'll end with Wardy is out of here.